no, it's
Right.
obviously awesome to have you here so early, Bruce. As I was saying, we're obviously hoping going forward now, there's going to be an open pipeline of transparency with stuff being built and like devlogs coming. I won't say exactly when the first devlog will be dropping, but it'll be very soon. And it's just going to be our way of kind of building out in the open with you guys. You saw an example of it, obviously, in Moki's Paradise for any Moki holders. Bruce dropped kind of the first thing that we kind of have a say in, Bruce. I think it was a bit of a landslide. It was the card packs.
Oh
Um,
yeah, that was actually surprising
yeah,
that it was such a landslide.
it was a really big thing. I haven't checked the latest things, but I think it was like 21-2. I think recently, and
No, it
Holiday
was like
made a really
40
good.
this morning.
Oh shit! Okay,
It was like
but
40 to 1 this morning. Whoever did the 2 was like,
I don't want to
unfortunate.
be that guy. Yeah, I don't want to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
that guy
unfortunate.
anymore. But yeah, actually, Holiday made a really good post about it last night, just highlighting that, like, if you do have a Moki, like, this is your opportunity to kind of have your voice heard and to shape the arena or elements of the arena that we're going to be obviously fighting in the next couple of months, which is really cool. And, like, it's awesome that we're doing this. But yes, devlogs will be coming, and there will be more breakdowns like this every week going forward. So there will be more and more of the curtains peeling back. But if we want to quickly run over just the highlights of the things from the just the tip of the event is obviously your Mokis are superstars. They'll have their own TCG card that everyone can collect, trade, and battle with. On top of that, your Moki will be coming to life as an AI challenger with their own personalities. So yeah, this is definitely a factor that we've spoken about a lot now, is that these Mokis are going to be like esport athletes, and you're going to have to train them and make sure that they are at the top of their game in order to win the most in the arena. And as we go into it here, your Mokis can be trained. Specialize your Mokis build by sending it to training across various attributes like strength and speed. Training progress is permanent and will be integrated into your NFT's metadata. And this is one of the factors that I was most blown away about when Bruce first talked to us about this, was that, like, it is going into the metadata. So I don't know how that's going to go as far as on the Mavis market or whatever. I assume there will be a new update to maybe traits, Bruce, where you'll be able to click strength, and then there'll be like two boxes where it'll be like 0 to 100 or whatever. So if people are starting to look for Moki with certain attributes, they can actually search them that way.
Yeah, all of the things that we put in the metadata will be available on Mavis Market. We just gotta
Awesome.
update it with them.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's going to bring on a whole new wave of searching for Mokis, because, right now we have the people that are like, I'm getting the Moki that speaks to me, or like a Moki that I like the look of. Like, I collect like certain traits because I'm just a nerd for certain things like that. But going forward, you're going to have the people that are really sweating it out in the arena, and they don't care if the Moki's holding like a bowl of poop. If it has high strength and it's training good, then they will be buying that Moki. So that's really, really exciting to see the dynamics that are going to get put in place in the way people buy and trade Mokis. Um, and then obviously own Moki royalties. Your Moki has multiple ways to earn. Remember, they're superstars now. This means that they'll earn royalties from having their TCG cards sold or traded. Also, if they dominate the arena, they'll get rewards. Yeah, so this is just touching on the multiple ways to earn. And obviously we can kind of expand on that in a second. How to play Fantasy League tests your deck building skills. You don't need to own a Moki to play, just the cards. Build the best lineup with the Moki and augment cards, and enter daily tournaments to win rewards. So yeah, like obviously, as I highlighted on the show last week with Gyro, everyone is kind of getting taken into account with the way you guys are building this thing out. If you own 50 Mokis, 1 Moki, no Mokis, there's going to be a way to enter in the fun somehow. So maybe, Bruce, if you want to highlight just what the royalties, like how they're going to work or how the earning mechanism is going to work, because I know that's probably the point where a lot of people are interested in and understanding, and I think we can't iterate it enough because we don't want any confusion to happen.
What people are excited to earn?
It's Web3, baby.
Yeah, one of the other things, one of the other royalty points that wasn't on here is the pack royalties as well. So We're not gonna have
Okay.
every single Moki in the collection in the first pack series because
Mm-hmm.
that's a fairly large pack series when you do
Oh, for
8,888
sure.
Mokis,
Yes.
and then spell augment cards and whatever else we're gonna throw in there. So if you are a champion in the first series or any series for that matter, you're gonna get royalties per pack as well. So we're gonna be attributing all the pack sales,
Mm-hmm.
and folks who are in it will get a royalty just from the packs being sold, which I think is really cool. So it's not,
Wow.
so it's on top of your card being sold or traded.
Oh, you can double dip? It's a double dip kind of
It,
thing going
it,
on?
it's a double dip. Yeah, so
Let's
so
go.
you get per card royalties, which we're actually gonna test. We're testing next week, which is awesome. Like we have the contract built for the fee splitter, and
Yep.
I think it's on testnet already, and we'll start testing that next week. So that's really dope. And then yeah, so you'll be able to get it two ways.
That's really exciting. And like I didn't even know that it was split into two different things, and like maybe you're still obviously working this stuff out and like whatever. I don't know how much you can talk about the economy and stuff like that. But now that we know that there is like obviously, let's just say you own a Moki, and owning a Moki is putting you in the position to earn from all of these different factors. If you have a Moki and let's just say it's a champion, this means that you're now have the possibility of earning from just the packs being sold because your Moki is part of that season. You are now
Yep.
getting a possibility to earn royalties because people are going to be trading you. If your Moki's popping off in the arena, people are going to be trading that Moki because they'll want it in their lineup. So you're now earning from a royalty of that. And then obviously, if your Moki is winning in the arena itself, it's going to be winning you earnings there as well. Is that right? Like if you own a Moki,
Yes.
you're having that many lines of different things. And how do you know how they will be distributed yet? Is it like every single time it happens? Is it like once a month? Maybe you'll get like a royalty drop of like the stuff that's happening, or is it going to be on a different kind of basis? What way are you kind
So
of looking at that?
it should be it should be the royalties on card trades
Mm-hmm.
will accrue all to the same. All the royalties will accrue to probably one withdrawal function where it'll accumulate and you can withdraw when you want, right? The
Awesome.
thing is, though, like all things Mokis, like your Mokis are earning this,
Mm-hmm.
not your user account.
Yes.
So all of these earnings are accumulating to your Moki, which
Okay.
is going to be interesting for trading dynamics
I was just
for
about to
folks.
say, how is that going to impact the trading? Because if
Yeah.
it's okay, can you expand on that a little bit, or is that like too? Because now I'm intrigued. So like Mokis themselves are going to be earning, like they're going to basically have an earning history, basically, right?
Yep.
Like so obviously the way the earning element is going to be redeemed in my head is quite similar to Tamameme from the referral thing. Like it'll just show. That, I think that would be a pretty cool way to
Hmm.
show like the history, and then you click the claim thing. Obviously, if people used your referral in Tamameme, guys, make sure that you always claim the stuff in there. Um, but I'm envisioning that's probably how it's going to be for your Moki, that your Moki has this storage thing. Like, imagine somebody trades a Moki, they like floor their Moki or something, and they have unclaimed stuff on there. Like, it
Yeah.
could be a whole new dynamic, right?
It could happen, right? So it is going to be interesting for listing and in markets. I think you'll likely be able to see their accrual history and how much token per day per week those things are accumulating. So there will be some nuance when it comes to trading in the Moki market because you could
You
trade
could
a
make it come
Moki
up.
that has withdrawals pending on it.
Yeah.
So it probably will not be great to just have your Moki sitting on the floor and also playing in Grand Arena if you're not keeping up with it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, no, for sure.
You want to be
God, I can't
intentional
wait.
when you list your Moki.
I
You know?
cannot wait to see it all the dynamics of the trading and stuff now, because everyone's gonna have to be so cautious of what they're doing, and like obviously metas will be formed and people will be gravitating to those things. Like it's gonna be very, very exciting.
Yeah, you should not list your Moki unless you have intent to sell it, or you're, keeping up with withdrawals and things like that, because somebody will likely snipe your Moki with earnings attached to it. So it's going to be interesting.
That is very interesting. But like I just like, it's so cool. Obviously we just listed it out now, the amount of different ways you earning one Moki if you're lucky enough to get into the champion packs and stuff like that. It is really going to be like multiple ways to earn. Like, I don't think I personally have seen a way that you as an asset holder of just one asset that's obviously given so much utility over the last year. Like, now you're like really hitting the jets with this thing and like turning them on. So to get this amount of stuff for owning one asset is kind of insane. And I don't think I've seen it before in the space to this degree, at least. So it'll be very exciting to see it all come online and everything like that. And I did see actually Xanatos ask a question a couple of minutes ago. Bruce is saying, will the personality of them be influenceable, or will it have any effect on the way they perform and stuff? Like Nisha saying she wants hers to be very aggressive.
Yeah, so I think it's a really good question that we don't have the answer to yet.
Okay.
I think we can do it either way, which is why I asked in the chat, like, what do you guys want, right? Do you want them to be, resettable when you buy one, or do you want that, like, that provenance of like this is the character? I don't know.
Okay.
It can literally be done either way. So we've built the system. We have not designed how the system is gonna work through time yet on that.
We should also be able to talk to them before buying. You sit down and have an interview with your NFT before you buy it. How that's so Black Mirror, dude.
Ideally, all of the champions will be able to chat. I don't know if that's going to be on the very first day, but that's what we're hoping for. We built the chat system for them. Like, I don't know. I think it's 2 months ago now, and we've shelved it to get the gameplay built.
How dystopian would that be if you go to Mavis Market and it's just a way to have a conversation with your Moki, like, please pick me. Like,
well, it's almost, it's dystopian, but it's also how major sports teams go, where, like,
for sure they should
got traded, and he's like, dude, I'm sitting in my hotel room, and like the GM runs to my, calls me at like 1 a.m. and tells me that I'm going to LA, and he's like, what the fuck? I've been here for years. Imagine that's how it goes. It's like, hey, you just got sold to Cammyyy. You just got traded. You just got traded to Cammyyy for 500 RON. How do you feel? And they should be able to comment on it.
The levels of, like, I don't know how far we're going to be able to push that, but that's something I'm really excited about. The second you said that they're going to have their own personalities and stuff, like, I don't know how extreme we can go with that. But if there's a way that we can have like a central hub where all of these Mokis are talking with each other, like if my team of Mokis beats Xanatos's, and we can go somewhere like after the game and like we can just see them talking shit to each other and they're like having a constant memory of everything they're winning, like, that by itself is so cool to witness. Like, this is like the spectator point of view, right? If you don't own a Moki and you don't want to like bet on these Mokis or do anything like this, then you can even just watch, like guys, I don't know if anyone here knows the ant farm kind of stream things where people love sitting and watching like a Twitch stream of like all of these ants just integrating with each other and building stuff together. But this is what I'm envisioning with this, is like you can just sit here, and if Gen Chat isn't popping, you can just go look at the Mokis interact with each other, and it'll just be free entertainment. Like, that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, so to get all 8,888 is like for no cost is probably going to be a challenge for us, because those inferences and the chat system does cost money to run, but for the champions, that's going to be a reality. And then for folks who don't have a champion and just want to do it, we can likely just open up a pathway with like Moku token or some other top up mechanism to keep your agent going. so you can
Awesome.
have fun with it, right? But the champions, we definitely want them to have personalities. We want them to talk. We want you to be able to interview them and, you know, post the interview on Twitter and be like, what the fuck happened? I just chatted with this, you
This
know,
makes
I
me so
just
hyped.
chatted
This
with
makes me
with
so
with
excited.
Cammy's Moki for 10 minutes and here's what he said, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Niche, you're
so
gonna have to be ready because there's definitely going to be new pages coming to Woku Weekly with these Moki interviews and player interviews and stuff like that. I'm so excited to like get more of the info and stuff out there. Like once the matches start happening and everything like that, we can like start having match breakdowns and everything. Niche, obviously you already cast Axie stuff. Maybe Niche can
Mm-hmm.
start casting some Grand Arena matches. That would be sick.
yeah,
I
Sean,
mean, like,
it would be awesome to have you cast stuff.
10 out of 10, what I'm gonna do is ask the Moki, hey, can you roast Cammyy right now?
Sean is saying in chat, what if there was a Grand Arena chat with all of the Mokis that is read only for us, but all the Mokis drafted are talking to each other? That's what I'm envisioning. This would be very, very cool if this is possible to have like another channel in like underneath Moki's Paradise or something where you can just sit and just they're talking shit to each other all the time. Or like maybe they make rivalries where like they have a friend in there and their friend gets beaten and then they have to go on a revenge path, you know? Like who knows? But that is very cool concept to think about, and I just think the more times you jump on here, Bruce, and we talk about things, there's so many different elements that's getting me hyped because it's now outside of the gameplay. Now we're looking at the fantasy side of things, and like outside of that, like we're talking about the royalties and stuff. So there is just so much that's coming down the pipe, and I feel like once it all goes online, like it'll just be I'll be no lifing it because there's so many different elements to interact with, either training or watching or like even just watching the market or the cards. Like I'm really hoping that there's going to be like a whole trading dynamic that opens here where people are just trading cards back and forth like Pokemon cards. Like I'm hyped.
I hope so. And then, damn, what was I gonna say? I fucking dropped it. We were talking about AI, personalities. We were talking about the chat side. Oh, yeah. I mean, when we look at this platform, I think it's really we've been having a struggle on just the marketing copy right now because there's so much going on, and it's hard to concisely explain what's happening. But I do think that this is primarily like a fantasy platform.
Yeah.
That is like the players are run by the players are your Mokis. Like it's run by Mokis. But the fantasy side is the side that most people will engage on and that like needs to be a large part of what we do to facilitate everything that's going on in the game with your Mokis, right? Like in the NFL, there is no NFL unless there's people watching the NFL, right? Like if there's people coming to the games, watching it on TV, sports betting on it, like that is the reason why the NFL exists, is because people are choosing to watch it, right? And give it ad dollars and stuff. This Moki Grand Arena competition is also the same way, which is, you know, we need people to care about it and we need people to watch it and tune in and contribute to the fantasy side, or it's a lot less fun to play the game, right? Like it's more fun to train your Moki when you know that thousands of people are going to watch it, right? And be rooting for it and become a fan of it and own the cards. Like that is a ton of the motivation. So our marketing is going to get a lot more fantasy platform forward in the coming months. That's not to say that the Moki stuff isn't important, but I think you guys are already bought in that this is exciting for you guys, right? And now we have to convince and show the folks who don't own a Moki that like, hey, you should come over here and fucking use this platform. It's really fucking fun, exciting. There's potential to earn here. Like those are the people that we have to cater to, and everybody in here has to, you know, talk about the platform.
We gotta get them bullish on the good tech.
We gotta get them bullish on that, because I know that you guys are bullish, right? There's like, you know, there's multiple ways to earn for Mokis. There's like deep systems to play around with. Like this is not I don't think anybody, probably but me in secret, could have imagined that this is what Mokis would be when we released them that July, right? None of you guys were like, oh, when's Grand Arena? Like, you guys all got a PFP that was vibes and got you a bunch of, whitelists and special access to things. But this is a whole new territory. I know that you guys are excited for this. We have to get the fantasy crowd and the speculators excited for this. That's the real mission over the next couple months.
And we're going to get it done. We're going to get it done. I mean, I remember like last October or whatever when we were jumping in a call and you were like first kind of onboarding me to the inside of things. And you showed me this Grand Arena thing. And I was like, what the fuck are we building? Like, you were like, yeah, nobody knows about this yet. Like, this is like coming down the pipe. And I was like, oh my God. Like, my brain was melted. I was like, wait, our Mokis are going to turn into this? Like, it made no sense. And like, obviously to see it transpire is insane.
Since this is a small room, do you guys want alpha on how the Grand Arena product happened?
Of course. Okay, everyone's just spamming yes immediately.
So one of the things, one of the and this is like less about my AI existential crisis that I talked to everybody about before. The Grand Arena was originally a extra mode in Super Battle Moki. And when we were testing it, this is also one of the reasons why like Super Battle Moki is taking a little bit of time to get out, because we refactored a lot of things. So
you pivoted.
Originally, when you get a 10-win lineup in Super Battle Moki, it would go into the Grand Arena, where everybody's 10-win lineup was gonna battle each other in like a best of whatever series that people can bet over and things like that. So it had all of the things that Grand Arena is going to do, but it was in Super Battle Moki. And one of the things that we found was like, it was just way too predictable. Like, it wasn't dynamic enough for people to be able to like speculate and bet over. You could almost look at lineups. If you really knew the game, you could look at lineups and tell who was going to win. So then we were like, all right, well, let's introduce more randomization into the gameplay, but that just wasn't fun for the user, because now the games were getting too random, right? Now it's like, I don't even know if I'm putting together a good team because fucking all the moves are 50% chance of something, right?
Yeah.
So it just didn't work. It was like a cursed problem. So we actually had to pull Grand Arena completely out of Super Battle Moki and make it its own product.
And how did those conversations go? Like I assume there was just some night, Bruce, where you had the realization of like, this is so much fucking bigger than Super Battle Moki at this point. Like, did you have to go talk with Akil and say, hey, so I have this idea and we need to do this? Like, how did that go?
Yeah. Well, that's when the AI stuff. That's when like the real machine learning and AI came in, because originally we were gonna have them just a lineups battle each other, right? Like the 10-win lineup submitted. And then we were like, all right, well, that's not dynamic enough. And we were like, well, is this ever going to fucking work? And then that's when we also started having the AI like ML conversation of like, how do we make dynamic gameplay that people are willing to speculate over? And that's when it was like, hey, let's try this out.
Wow.
But yeah, it was originally slated for Super Battle Moki as just a extra mode after you get your 10 wins. And then that's basically what you're grinding your 10 wins for, right? It's like, get your lineup into the Grand Arena. That lineup can earn blah, blah, blah. That all that stuff was happening in Super Battle Moki. But we had to pull it out because it just wasn't good enough, which I'm glad we did, because it's fucking, it's awesome now. This is like an entirely new thing, but it was interesting working through it.
I think like from what we've seen and then like the way that you and Akil and stuff have talked about the technology and stuff now, like it really seems like this is a game and this is a product that literally probably couldn't have existed a year ago. Like, it seems like it's so on the cutting edge of the tech that's currently available and the AI stuff that's currently available and like is actively being developed. It seems like this would not have been able to exist last year. Like, that's how advanced everything sounds.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, the Unity ML engine has been around for a while, and to be honest, there's still not a lot of documentation on it because barely anybody has used it in depth. But it's been around for about 5 years. So that combined with the LLM stuff, I mean, it would be really hard to do that a year ago. But it's much easier now. But on the machine learning side, a lot of this stuff has been available. It's just people don't know how to use it. There's not a lot of documentation on it. There's
and then Bruce got his hands on AI.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome to hear that lore as well, and it's very exciting. I don't know if people have any more questions in chat. Are the bots going to be an issue in Grand Arena like other games like Pixels? I mean, it sounds like this is going to kind of just directly take on the bot problem, because in order to achieve victories and stuff like that, these Mokis need to be at a high level of training, and there's only like going to be a certain amount of them in the Grand Arena. Bruce, am I correct in like talking about that? Like, this is going to kind of neutralize the bot problem the Web3 sees right now, because they're all AI at the end of the day. So it actually removes this element.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing was like, how do we build the games that are like agnostic to the bot problem, right? This Grand Arena is meant to be just anti or pro bot, I guess. It's pro bot because they're all bots. So I don't think there'll be a problem. Like, can you automate your training? I don't know yet. Maybe somebody will go do it, but really, it's you have to make strategic decisions around what you're using. You know, like what attributes you're pumping up, what behavior you're going for in the Grand Arena. Like, maybe you can get data assistance on like what's winning, what's not, and try to play for the meta. But I don't see automations giving anybody an advantage over somebody else.
You know, I'm such a nerd when it comes to this stuff with like Excel sheets and everything. Like, I really wonder how nerdy people are going to get. Like, are we going to get like community wikis and stuff that are tracking all of these like different Mokis and their stats and like how to best optimally train them and stuff like that? I'm very excited to see what forms in the community side of things. Like, I know someone like Niche is really, really good at like finding metas and stuff like that in Axie, and like the Axie roguelike became like Niche's thing. She became queen of the roguelike that was there. So I'm excited to see how people lean into that element of things and start nerding out over how to min-max and everything. So that'll be really cool.
Especially with the augment cards, right? That allow you to change how your lineup is scored, right? So everybody's going to get the same amount of points for, you know, capturing a gacha ball or, you know, destroying another unit or riding Wart for a number of seconds. But when you start putting in these augment cards, now those point scores start to change, right? So you can optimize for certain things. You can optimize for a certain lineup, like fur type or certain, you know, Moki characteristics. There's different things that you'll be able to theory craft, which is our hope is it lets people design a bunch of different winning lineups.
So there might not be one clear straight meta. And I know you obviously love theory crafting. You've told us the story before of how you used to do, was it Magic the Gathering drafts and stuff like that all the time? So, you know, it's getting built by somebody who is very, very passionate about that element of things. So I don't think that's something we should be worried about. I think
draft mode.
Yeah,
I want a draft mode really bad, where, you know, Alan and I were kicking it around yesterday, where what if you buy 5 packs for a, you know, a fantasy slate that's coming up, and you open a pack, you pull out a card, then you pass the pack to the right, and you basically build your lineup. You build your lineup on the fly instead of with a certain number of people versus going to like bringing a pre-constructed lineup into the tournament. And then and you keep the cards after, right? And so like I would love that mode, right? Especially, college Bruce with $0 saying that I can compete at the same level as everybody else with a little bit of luck was super exciting. So those types of things we're definitely thinking about.
Yes, cool. And even to know that you're thinking about and considering those kind of things is really exciting. There's going to be a lot of different facets of Grand Arena. And like, before we close off, obviously, you were saying the fantasy element is going to be very important for like, different communities and sub-communities to evolve and spawn. And obviously, Bruce, you've been jumping in and out of Gen Chat recently. I think you've seen that there is currently a sub-community forming. The girls of Moku are taking over the Discord lately with only Mokis. And actually, Sweet Potato, can you drop the pictures you made of the only Mokis people right now? Maybe we can have cheerleaders in the game as the only Moki squad because they're starting to take over.
Cheerleaders, they're gonna be vicious competitors. I don't know what we're talking about.
We're just gonna roast. We're not gonna cheer.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're here for the title, Cammyyy. What are you talking about?
You can do both.
Are there certain accessories for the only Mokis group that people can collect, or is it just is it just a random assortment?
Potato? Can you drop the pictures? Potato is doing out the art for them currently, and they're so good. Like, yeah, she's getting them for a second. Okay, we got vicious killers. Okay, whatever, dude. We got vicious killers. Sweet Potato will drop the stuff in the chat real quick. I think she made one for Joey, Niche, Asta. I don't know who else has them yet, but they're really cool. But as she's finding those, is there anything else that you want to discuss before we close down this element of the show?
No, I just want to know if there's accessories that I should be collecting for only Mokis. That's it for me. I literally have the marketplace open right now. So
okay, you need to go back to the drawing board now and see if there's any specific traits that you guys want to cling on to. Is like the 69% milk, like what other stuff is possibly an only Moki's trait? It gets very unhinged.
If I were the one to choose, definitely the phones.
The phones? The only Moki? So I say cheerleader stereotype, but you go phones.
So we can roast you with phone. Yeah,
okay,
yeah, like
Bruce, this is Asta's. This is Asta's one.
Okay. So I need to do the phone. I need to get a phone.
Yeah, and it looks like the eggplant is looking like a trait as well. Maybe bananagasm. I think there's some of the stuff that they're going to be looking for.
I have the bananagasm. The eggplant. I think I have an eggplant.
Is this you opening the door to possible collections of just like you might need certain collections of Mokis? Because that would be very cool and another cool dynamic.
Eggplant
is sick.
If we're thinking about the augment cards, imagine if there was a card that's like, having 3 phones in your lineup is you get the only Mokis spell card that has
the buff.
Yeah, that gives a bonus if you have 3 or more phones in your lineup. These are the types of things that we can do with like affinities. Well,
Bruce, I was just about to get you off the stage, but now you've opened a can of worms and I'm going to drill you on it real quick. So, like, is there the possibility that we could see yet another dynamic come into the floor of Mokis where you are no longer buying just the floor Moki or no longer looking at the traits? If obviously hypothetically we're discussing it right now, there is like certain augment cards that are good, like the only Mokis one, if that becomes a thing, and you need like just say this is spitballing, guys, this is like live spitballing, so just say the phone, the eggplant, and like the bananagasm are the only Moki traits, and if you have all of these in your collection, you have access to this augment card. Is this a possibility that could lead to now you're no longer shopping the floor, you're shopping what traits do they have and how can I get this augment card by collecting, like, you know?
So I think there's a couple of things here, right? There's like, okay, first let's split, what's useful performing in the arena and then what's useful in the fantasy game, right?
Yes.
Because there might be confusion there. The fantasy game, you'll be collecting cards, and those cards will have attributes that mirror the Moki that you're collecting, right? So
Yep.
like maybe you'll get an augment card that's like the only Moki's card, and having phones boost it. Then it's
Yeah.
like, do accessories boost
my
your
God.
performance in an individual game? The answer right now for game number 1 is no. They do not
Okay.
boost your performance in the game. That's not to
Gotcha.
say that we aren't going to do something with those accessories like on the way. That's not to say that like the next game won't have deeper integration for accessories. The goal for us here is to see, because this is something that really hasn't been done before. The goal is to see if it get the market excited about it, right?
Yes,
and do
for
that
sure.
do that in a quality way, but also like test that theory as fast as possible on whether they
Yep.
like it or not.
No, that's
so
awesome.
that's one of the reasons why we didn't go super deep on accessories, because we're like, we can spend a bunch of time tinkering around with this and extend the timeline a couple of months and like really build like a deep accessory system. But if we put it out and you guys don't like it and people don't like the fantasy side, then we would have spent a whole lot of time on something that was like a delighter and really cool for the game, but not integral and core to the game.
Yeah, it's about
right?
prioritizing the correct things.
Yeah, so but we really do want to do that, right?
That would
And
be
we
so
think
cool.
in a second game we can, or even in this game, we can continue to build accessories into it. But on the card side, we definitely want to do stuff there. And who knows? I think you brought up a good idea that like, hey, can having certain things in your Moki collection actually unlock cards for the Moki holder to put into their card collection? Because you guys are likely going to play both. That's cool.
No, that's cool. Like, could you imagine?
Give
Like,
you an idea.
there's always these subgroups and sub communities and stuff like that like collecting certain traits. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe there's a wolf thing. You're not going to be able to find those wolves. You know what I mean? Like, the different kind of things like that. It's going to add such an interesting dynamic if it's something that is explored. But yes, that's cool. That was more than I thought we were going to get today. That's really awesome, Bruce.
Dude,
And
I mean, when you get me in here, you get me talking.
Yeah, let's go. Like, that's what it's about. I think it's very exciting. Like, I'm just putting myself in the shoes of a community member. If I was sitting here listening to the stage, I would be pumped right now. I'm obviously pumped right now. So no, that's really exciting, and I appreciate you jumping on here and sharing so much with us.